Oftentimes the students are confused. Where is it that they need to use can and where is it that they need to use could? Before we could understand the difference, let's first take a look at some similarities. Both can and could are modal verbs. What are modal verbs? Modal verbs are helping verbs or auxiliary verbs. In this sentence here, I can dash. Now this does not give a complete story. It has to have a main verb here. It can be anything. For example, I can drive, I can swim, I can write, I can read, whatever it is. So it needs to have a main verb. I can stand alone on its own only when both the listener as well as the speaker knows the context of the conversation. For example, your friend tells you, I will be late. Can you open the door if I come late? Or could you open the door if I come late? And you respond by saying, sure, I can, or simply I can. In this context, both your friend as well as yourself, you know what you're talking about, so that will make sense only when both of you know what you're talking about. The example over here, I can drive. If I write, I could drive, both of them are grammatically correct. Let's take a look at another example. He can handle the crisis. She could handle the crisis. Now both the sentences are the same. I've used can here, I've used could here. Both of them are grammatically correct. Can and could are used to express ability. I can speak 3 languages. Now this is the ability of the person. He can speak multiple languages. Surya can climb the Mount Everest. Now this, here we are talking about someone's physical ability. Surya can climb the Mount Everest. Nina can jump out of a moving vehicle. Now could be a possibility that she is a stunt woman. She can jump out of a moving vehicle. That's her ability. That girl could not complete the assignment on time. So here we take a look at these examples where both can as well as could can be used to express someone's ability. They both can be used to express positive, write positive sentences, or give or write negative sentences, or frame questions. How we can do that? Let's take a look at these examples. We can paint this wall easily. That is affirmative, that is positive. When the response is yes, or it has a positive response, then you can say we can paint this wall easily. On the contrary, if your response is negative, we can't paint this wall easily, that's a negative sentence. How to frame question using can? Can we paint this wall easily? Can you get me a glass of water? These are the questions which you can form by using can. Now let's take a look at could. He could buy a shirt or a camera, whatever it is. He could not buy a shirt. Could he buy a shirt? So here we have seen the example where both can and could can be used to frame positive sentences, negative sentences, or just say frame questions. Moving on. In the previous example, I used contraction. What a contraction? Can't is a contraction. Can plus not. The contraction is can't. I don't want you to get confused. Is there something that you need to keep in mind while using cannot or can't or could not or couldn't? No, you don't have to. Both of them are grammatically correct. You can use, if you don't feel very comfortable using cannot or using can't, then you can use cannot. If you don't feel very comfortable using couldn't, then you can use could not. Both of them are correct. In modern English, generally people tend to use can't and couldn't. However, if you use cannot or could not, both of them are correct. Now, you can also ask questions or answer questions using can and could. For example, you go to a hospital, or maybe you're filling a tax form or something, and someone asks you, "Can you fill this form?" And your response is, "Yes, I can fill this form." If the form is easy, obviously you're going to respond by saying something like this. However, you can also give a negative response by saying, "No, I can't fill this form. It is too difficult." Could be that you don't have the right information with you, so that is why this response. Now, you can use could as well. "Could you hand over the keys to the manager?" "Sure, I can." So this is how you can ask questions as well as give answers to questions. Now, how can we take permission or give permission or grant permission? By using can and could. In this example here, the metro station closes at 5 p.m. Can I leave early today? Probably you're talking to your boss, your manager, or probably your teacher. So you are explaining to them, "Can I leave early today? And this is the reason." "Well, I understand. You can leave by 4:30 p.m. Now here, this boss seems to be a decent, I won't say generous, neither he's stingy, neither he is generous, but reasonable boss. "Yes, you can leave by 4:30 p.m. That is 30 minutes early, you can leave." So you can give permission, you can seek permission, that is take permission using can and could. "Could I borrow your pen?" Here we used can. Now we'll take a look at example with could. "Could I borrow your pen?" "No problem, you can take this pen." Or you can simply say, "Yes, you can." You can also make a request with can and could. "Could I have some water, please?" "Can I have some more cake if it's all right with you?" Now, it also depends on your tone. However, you can use can and could to make requests. But it is better when you're making request, it is better to use could. That is more apt. Also, when you are talking about some sort of possibility, even then it is better to use could. Could is used to talk about possibilities. It could be possible that Messi strikes a goal. It could be a possibility that we win the match today. So you can make requests or talk about possibilities using could, which is more apt. Now let's take a look at another way in which you can use these modal verbs can and could. That's to give an order. "Can you keep quiet?" "Could you keep it down?" What is keep it down? When someone asks you to lower down your volume, maybe there is some meeting or maybe something urgent has come up and the person needs you to be quiet. So the person asks you, "Could you keep it down?" That is also a way to request, not request, but tell someone to keep it down. All right. Now let's take a look at how to give a suggestion using can and could. You can speak to him in private. Now maybe the person is your senior or in a powerful position and you don't want to confront that person in public. So someone makes a suggestion, you can speak to him in private. Now this applies both for personal as well as a professional conversation. Similarly, we can use could as well. She could use lighter colors for her presentation next week. Probably the theme of the presentation requires the person to use lighter tones. So here a suggestion is being given. She could use lighter colors for her presentation next week. Now this video has already exceeded 10 minutes. I'm going to continue with this video with options and the differences in the next video. Thank you for your time.